Hey, what's up everyone, TJ here. I'm back out in California for the week riding Snow Summit and Bear Mountain, and I've partnered up with Snowboard Magazine to do a freestyle test. So we're gonna be checking out several boards throughout the week, and today we got some new snow, got some interesting conditions here at Bear Mountain, but we're taking a look at the Arbor Westmark rocker. So in this video, I'm gonna go through all the tech and I'll share my thoughts on how it feels on snow out here as well. Let's get into it. All right, for reference, before we get into the tech, I weigh around 150 pounds, I'm 5'10", and we're riding the Westmark Rocker 154. So this is gonna be a more freestyle focused board on the Arbor lineup. It is a true twin and it runs their rocker system profile. So it's a full rocker snowboard, but it runs a parabolic rocker. So that means that you're gonna have a little bit more of an exaggerated bend between the feet, getting a little bit mellower as you get out to the contact points, but overall gonna have that full rocker feel, gonna give you the benefits you'd expect out of rocker as well, keeping the board nice and catch free, easy turn initiation, also offering a bit of a benefit in powder for float with that bend if you do find yourself in some soft snow. And it's also gonna give you more leverage for presses and butters to lean into the nose and tail. And to help give this board a little bit more versatility and a little better all mountain performance, you're gonna find their Grip Tech side cut as part of that rocker system. So Grip Tech is 2 contact points added right underfoot on both the heel and the toe edge. So if you are on more firm or icy conditions, that's really gonna help bite down on that snow and isolate some pressure right underfoot to help keep you in control and just give you a little bit more grip. You're also gonna find what Arbor calls their flip tips. So right at the very end of the tips on the nose and tail here, kind of on this flat part, you're gonna see a little extra bevel of the base and edge, kind of ramping up just a little bit more. So if you're jamming into snow or into features or anything like that, it's gonna help that edge from catching in, just to give you a little bit more freestyle versatility. Like I mentioned before, this is one of Frank April's boards, and he rides a lot of urban features doing pretty gnarly stuff. But even out here at Bear, where we have a lot of wall rides, a lot of crazy transition in the snow, that's just gonna help make sure that edge isn't digging into anything like that. And the last couple things I wanna mention is that you're gonna find a biax fiberglass layup in this snowboard. So a pretty consistent feel with the flex, both lengthwise and torsionally, help make this board even more freestyle friendly with that torsional flex, as well as a sintered base. So a sintered base is just known to be harder, faster, and more durable compared to an extruded base, but you do want to make sure to wax it regularly to maintain a nice consistent glide. And I gotta say, I'm riding just the factory wax out here, and it's feeling really good with the conditions we have out here at Bear, even with this fresh snow. That's gonna be it for the tech breakdown. We're gonna get a few more laps going and then check back in here a little bit later on to give you some feedback on how this thing feels on snow. Let's get it. All right, let's start off talking about the flex. I'd say the flex on the Westmark rocker is a pretty solid mid flex with a torsional flex to match. So it's gonna be capable for all mountain riding while still being very freestyle friendly. And while this board is pretty sturdy, I'd say it is still very butter friendly as well. That rocker profile, the parabolic rocker, is gonna give you more leverage as you lean into the nose or tail to help get you taller presses with less effort. And then it's got the flip tips also, so that last like centimeter, 2 centimeters on the nose and tail flips up even more. So if you're into doing like nollies or tricks where you're spinning around on the snow, gonna help make it a little bit less catchy. And overall has a really good feel for that type of stuff if you're into flat ground tricks. It's got pretty average pop and energy in my opinion. With the rocker shape, you do have to lean into it where you're slightly pressed and you get to the end of that rocker profile before you start to load up tension in the snowboard. So that's gonna be a little bit more limiting as far as how much potential energy it can hold compared to a camber board. If you do want that more energetic, powerful feel, they do offer this board in a camber version as well. But once you get used to the feel of loading this board up, I think it comes through with some decent energy and definitely doesn't feel dead by any means. I also want to talk about the carving experience on the Westmark. I think one of the most noticeable things when it comes to the feel of the snowboard is the parabolic rocker profile. As soon as you get this board on edge, it wants to turn right away. Super easy turn initiation, has a nice maneuverable feel to it, and it's pretty capable out there while you're exploring as well. I think the Ashwood power ply combined with all the other tech in this snowboard, does help dampen out chatter a little bit. But if you do start to push this board, you are gonna find the limits of it. You might get a little bit of chatter in the nose and tail at higher speeds with those rocker tips. But I'd say for just general cruising and exploring the resort, definitely going to be a fun one and a solid all-mountain freestyle board. One other thing I want to mention is the Grip Tech side cut, those added contact points underfoot. You know, we had kind of softer variable conditions out there the day we were testing this snowboard. So, you know, we were bouncing around a little bit and it was pretty grippy snow. So you don't notice the Grip Tech as much in those conditions, but I've actually had a lot of time on Arbor snowboards with that Grip Tech side cut. I've owned them in the past, and I will say on really firm or icy conditions, you can really feel it isolate that grip right under your feet, which can really come in handy and give you more confidence in those sketchier conditions. One other thing I feel helps make this board more all-mountain capable is the side cut. It's a little bit of a longer, above average side cut on this one, so when you do get it up to those slightly higher speeds, it still maintains a nice, comfortable feel to it. And if you're wondering how this board's gonna feel in powder, this is a Freestyle Friendly true twin snowboard, so it's not really gonna do you any favors, but that rocker profile is gonna offer a slight benefit compared to camber boards, all other things being equal. And while the Westmark has a lot of good tech built into it to make it a well-rounded resort board, it still has a good feel for park laps as well. I'd say for park riding, it's maybe a little bit mellower. You know, it's gonna be fun for mini shred. It's gonna be pressable, you know, much like for Butters, that rocker profile will help you out on the rails. You can start to step it up to larger features. You know, it does have a decent bit of stability to it, but the rocker does give it a loose feel from time to time. So not something I'd push to the large features. You might find that it's a little bit washy if you step up to large jumps and find yourself in like higher impact landings where stability becomes a little bit more important. But overall, a pretty well-rounded park board, something you can have a lot of fun with on those days where you're doing park laps with your friends. Overall, I think this is a nice, well-rounded snowboard for the entire resort and has a good feel to it for those of you with a more freestyle approach to your riding that are looking for the benefits of reverse camber. And even though this board is a little bit more playful, I'd still recommend it to more intermediate to advanced riders. It's not going to be the best board for true beginner progression and learning the fundamentals, but once you pass those stages, it's going to be a board that I think you could really progress with. So if you're looking for something like that, consider the Arbor Westmark rocker. Don't forget that they do offer this board in a camber version as well. If you want to check this board out in more detail, I'm going to have it linked down in the description below. And if you've had a chance to ride it, let us know what you think about it down in the comments below. You can leave any questions for me down there as well. Drop a like if you got some value. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for watching today, and we'll see you in a new board review next time. Take care, everybody.